on behalf of Chaturvedi and Mayfair Housing, all of you to the third Murari Chaturvedi Memorial Lecture. It's a very special moment for all of us in our Indian real estate. It is the 85th birthday of Shri Murari Chaturvedi. He was the first real estate journalist which this country has produced. I have the fortune to be associated with Mr. Murari Chaturvedi, his two sons, Sanjay and Ajay, for last 3 decades. I have been the convener of the Accommodation Times Award. And it gives me immense pleasure to share with you that the orator, the business leader, the real estate thought leader, the champion of real estate, Mr. Nayan Shah, Nayan Arvind Bhai Shah, CMD of Mayfair Housing, immediate past president CREDAI MCHI, has consented to be the today's speaker, and he will be giving the third Murari Chaturvedi memorable lecture. Now, it is my immense pleasure to briefly introduce a man. I will need 1 hour to introduce Mr. Nayan Bhai Shah, but allow me to share his profile, his achievements. Nayan Bhai is the CEO, MD of the Mayfair Group. Mayfair Group has the experience of construction and sales of housing projects with around 5,000 apartments, which has resulted in 6 lakh square feet of built up area. TDR is equal to 9 by Shah. They have generated more than 30 lakh square feet. Whatever I know about Nayan Bhai in the last few years, I have personal interaction with him when he was the CREDAI MCHI president. Much before that, when he was, doing his research on TDR 25, 30 years back, when I started my career, I always looked upon this man for his commitment towards the real estate industry. He has been always advocating the importance of research. He himself is a learned person. In all his lectures, his speech, his interactions, he has always stressed upon the fact that as a real estate developer, as a real estate broker, as a marketeer, what is important is to have complete knowledge about the subject which we are dealing in. It has been more than 5 years now that we have got RERA. We had multiple tsunamis. We had multiple problems this industry has gone through. But we have all together stood. We are a resilient industry and we have come out of whatever problems we've been having. So I would now ask Nayan Bhai to be joining us and giving his thoughts, his viewpoints. We will not have anybody more appropriate and learned than Nayan Shah. So friends, join me in welcoming the Indian real estate thought leader, the champion, the man himself, Shri Nayan Arvind Bhai Shah.
Good evening, friends. It's a great pleasure to be with all of you, and more so because I am in a small way repaying my debt of gratitude to this great man, to this of our real estate industry, the founder of Accommodation Times, Shri Murari Chaturvedi. My dad used to be a journalist, And Murari Bhai and my dad used to go along with each other very well. They both would share the of running a newspaper and the newspaper coming on time again and again. Murari Bhai was instrumental in framing a number of policies that are there today. He was a guest writer to Economic Times, College Times, Times of India. He produced the property show in Doordarshan. And more than anything else, he loved real estate. He knew the pains of each and every stakeholders. And he always had for the real estate developers. The topic that I have thought of talking today for the third memorial lecture, the third Murari Chaturvedi memorial lecture is urban wealth. If one were to see that what is it that Murari Bhai stood for, he was a true nationalist. The real thing behind his mind, his motive, he had a firm belief that urban development can lead to national wealth. And this is, I would summarize his whole approach to this word, to single statement, urban development. And my next 45 minutes, I'm going to take you through this topic. Now, I'm going to limit myself today because my experience is towards Mumbai metropolitan region. MMR today contributes almost 30 to 40% of the entire urban development in the country. It is a highly complex ecosystem, an evolved social system, and a highly complex and evolved regulatory system. I would say MMR is the mother of all. The Mumbai metropolitan region is unique by itself. One cannot compare MMR and have its solutions from what is evolving from Singapore, New York, London, etc., etc. With the constraints of a democracy, of consensus building and then getting into development, MMR has evolved in a fantastic way. Now, urban development, creating national wealth. I would like to start my talk, to base my talk on two fundamental principles of urban development. One, quality of life and ease of living people living in MMR. And how does one define quality of life and ease of living? So I applied my mind and I feel there are 17 parameters on which we can define quality of life. And they are the average size of the home that the person is living, the cost of that home, the connectivity of his home to his workplace. Can he reach within 60 minutes? Does he have adequate recreational facilities, entertainment facilities, access to affordable healthcare, access to affordable entertainment, uninterrupted supply of electricity, water, secured? Are his boys, girls safe, secured in the environment, in the suburb in which he is living? Is the maintenance of those homes affordable looking at the size of income that he has? Is he being served with reasonably good civic amenities with affordable property taxes? Does he get economic opportunity within 1.5 hour of travel distance from his home? Overall employment and walk to work from a hub. So I don't say walk to work from Virar to BKC. I would say, can he reach from Virar to BKC in 50 and then walk to work in another 5 minutes? This 17 parameters would define the ease of living and the quality of life. My next proposition is real estate is an asset class. Now, what is the trait of a good real estate asset? Now, and I have based it on 13 parameters. Number one, is the asset developable? Is it safe? Can I value it? Will it generate liquidity when I want? Is it fungible? In other words, can I have fractional ownership on it? Is it tradable? Is it bankable? So, in other words, can I mortgage it and take money? Does it have all the approvals in place? Is it appreciating? And does it have an independent source of ownership? Meaning, does it have an independent title verification? Like an Aadhaar card or a driving is an enough proof of one's identity. So, is there an Aadhaar card? Is there a passport? Is there a driving license equivalent to the asset that I own? And given a dispute, is there enough enforceability my ownership? Can I protect it? So, in other words, just as fixed deposits, shares, debentures, gold, metal, silver, diamonds, they have all these qualities of an asset. Same way, is the real estate asset in MMR equal to these 13 points? Does it meet those criteria? So that is my second proposition. One is the ease of living and quality life in MMR. And second is the how do you define a real estate asset? What are the traits of a real estate asset class? So these are the traits of an asset class. My third proposition is that national wealth is equal to the economic opportunities, the economic growth that is going on in a region, and economic growth and real estate go hand in hand. MMR today is the economic growth engine of the country, and MMR is going to grow exponentially, and in the next 10 to 15 years, that become a $1 trillion economy or even more than that. Now, with these three things in at the background, and the topic being urban development, creating national wealth, let us look at the a few statistics. What is the size of real estate in MMR today? There are no authentic numbers, but one thing is clear. The average value of real estate residential scale sales in the primary and secondary market is about 1,50,000 crores. Now, about 12 to 14% as commercial, offices, warehousing, entertainment, hospitals, education, so on and so forth. So the rough size would be anywhere between 1,80,000 crores to 2 lakh crores annual sales of real estate in MMR. Hence, one can safely say that $20 billion is the size of the real estate market today in MMR. I see that in the next 20 years, the size of $20 billion is going to go up to $500 billion. In the next 5 years, that is by the end of 2028, the size of real estate value economic will be from $20 billion to $50 billion. From 29 to 2034, from $50 billion to $100 billion. From 2034 to 2039, it will shoot up to 200. And from 2039 to 2044, 2045, it will be $500 billion. So in the next 20 years, the potential for real estate economy in MMR can be 25 times than what it is today. The next 20 years are the most exciting times for real estate in MMR. Now, this is the potential. Now, let us look at, despite what kind of challenges, we still have this size. And if those impediments that are there today, if they are resolved or they are addressed in a proper systematic focus manner, then this kind of development that I just spoke of. That is, every 5 years, it will double. Now, let us look at a few challenges that the real estate industry is actually facing. Let me take a very simple example. The maturity of any industry depends, one very good indicator is how much equity and debt does the industry attract, not only from the local funds but international funds. My next question is the industry fundamentally capable to the NSE, to the BSE, to the international stock exchanges? Is the industry fundamentally compliable where billions of dollars or trillions of dollars of pension they flow to that industry? Thousands of crores that are left with trust, religious organizations, can they flow to the industry? Can AIF flow to that industry? Can bonds flow to that industry? These are which decide whether the industry is mature or is the industry away from those funds. Can the funds from the insurance companies, can they flow to the industry? The reality is that few companies, none of these funds, not even 0.5% potentiality of these funds are flowing into the industry, the real estate industry. Now, why so? What are the reasons that this is not flowing? As I already said, MMR is a unique region. It is highly connected by airport, ports, railway, roads. It has 3 crores of professional people working in the MMR. About 20 lakh crores worth of infrastructure investment is happening in the MMR. Some of the notable infrastructure investments are the Trans Harbour Link, the Navi Mumbai Airport, the bullet train, the coastal road, the Warsaw Virar Link Road, the Alibag Mumbai corridor, the 5th and 6th railway line from Virar to Borivali and even to Andheri, the various metro lines that are getting. Hence, in a couple of years, the entire MMR will become extremely well connected by land, by sea, airports, and by ports. Now, that means the fundamental connectivity regulation is already in place. But the difference, why this is not happening? Let us look at that. One can divide the growth of MMR into 6 time zones. Time zone 1, developments done before, developments done between 1940 and 1967, developments done between 1967 to 1991, developments done between 1991 to 2012, and developments done between 2012 and development post 2020. Now, today we have a very unique situation. There are 3 ways in which the development is happening. One block is the land, the title coming from the government being MADA, MMRDA, SITCO, NAINA, which I would call them giving a sovereign title because the title is issued by the government. Then you have professional landlords like the trust or corporate companies giving out their land on auction because they are shifting from one place to another. Say, for example, the title mill, the lands that were belonging to the textile mills, various development that have come up in Mulund, Borivali, and number of different places. Entire Andheri East is nothing but closure of factories and starting of offices or residential complexes over there. The third part is the individual bungalow owners, the cooperative societies. But this represents not even 3 to 4% of the entire land that is available in MMR. The 95% of the land, one could say, is in an informal sector. And this informal sector, millions of homes have come up, millions of small factories have come up, millions, thousands and lakhs of dhabas, showroom, shops have come up on roads. In old buildings, homes have been converted into offices, hawkers, so on and so forth. Now, in these 95% development, billions of dollars have been invested by lakhs of people of their hard-earned money. Nobody has financed them. It is just their own. But unfortunately, They don't have a title deed. They are not on any municipal record. Their name doesn't reflect on a PR card. And if they were to wanting to raise money, it would be difficult. So if you look at those assets versus the 13 points that I gave of a real estate asset, is it developable? No. Is it safe? No. Does it have a valuation? Means an independent valuation, just as if I want to buy today Reliance, I know that the BSE is trading at so and so. No. Does it have liquidity? No. Does it have fungibility? No. The possession decides the title. And most of them are given on rent, or the owner himself is, you know, running that. Now, this is the fundamental problem. Apart from that, because of these structures being there from 80 years, 100 years, the title of the landlords also, because of the generation to generation, we do not know that who is the real owner of that property. Even in the tenants also, because tenancy can be passed by heirship, we do not know that who has the right of the real right of the tenancy on that particular day. And even in the apartment or the home, he has made a loft, he has made a mezzanine, he has made an extension of 2 story, 3 story, 4 story. If you go and see, you know, sometimes you feel that look how this development has come up, and the planning authorities have no power left to demolish or do anything to them. I think the government, having decided a very wise thing, is to protect them. And I think that's a real wise thing, because that is the first step to give them a right to ownership, at least. So today, all slums are protected. That's an excellent thing that the government has done. A few other good things that the government has done is that they have come up with very far reaching development control regulations. The development control and promotional regulation, they are known only known as the planning regulation, they are known as promotion regulations. The intention of the government is to unleash the potential, to free the FSI, and to completely do away with and the development. However, what is happening at the ground level is that for the owner or the stakeholder to develop his property is a long process, huge cost. So what is happening that whereas even a small plot of 500 meters or 1,000 meters or 2,000 meters may take 3 months to approve, it may take only a few days to build on it. The FSI use on the land may be as per the regulation, but it doesn't have, hence it cannot get water, it cannot get an official electric connection, everything is managed. The people buying have to either pay pagdi, they can't get a home loan. Now, this is the fundamental challenge. Now, let that if these are the challenges and these are the opportunities, what are the solutions to the same? Number one, today the development control regulations mandate a huge area to be given for parking. If you see the buildings being developed in Mumbai, in other places of MMR, for every flat of 500 square feet or more, there needs to be one parking, plus guest parking, plus place for scooters. If you see the developed countries, What have they done? They have given a great public transportation network. People in New York coming from New Jersey, Queens, or Brooklyn from 100, 200 kilometers. People in Tokyo today travel through the bullet trains 100, 200, 250 kilometers away. But they reach their destination within an hour. From the railway station or the transportation hub, they are able to reach by walk or by way of a local vehicle within 5 to 10 minutes. And the chairman, managing director of that bank or that company down to the lowest level, everybody travels through that public mode. So the first thing is we need a unified transportation authority for MMR, which can really combine and even come down to the micro level. Very recently, the Honorable CM announced that all roads in Mumbai will be concretized over the next 3 years. They are going to spend 6,000 crores, and they want to ensure that for the next 30 years, we enjoy a pothole-free road. While this is being developed, excellent footpaths will also come up. With excellent footpaths coming, it will be safe for a citizen to walk on the footpath. This needs to be created for the entire MMR. So we need an unified transportation authority. Today, the Navi Mumbai system, the BMC has a separate bus system, VVCMC, KDMC. I mean, everybody has their own separate bus system. All these needs to be combined into a singular transportation authority. Second, today, huge population. The planning authorities today not only have the function, the civic functions of supplying water, sewer, roads, education, health, firefighting, crematoriums, and so on and so forth. So many facilities today the BMC is giving that, we have taken. The BMC also does the approval of the plans, and the BMC also does the regulation of the encroachment. Now, this approval of plans and the development of the plan needs to be taken out from all these planning authorities, and we need a CEO for MMR, a person who can make a business, and he would have three goals of ease of living, the goal to realize the economic potential. That means he interfaces with the stakeholders and ensures that the economic potential of $1 trillion is realized, and as to how real estate unleashed, the potential is unleashed to make it happen. The Ministry of Urban Development and the Ministry of Housing needs to be merged, and a MMR real estate to be made in the government of Maharashtra, which will focus only on MMR. Today, there are 19 different planning authorities: MADA, SITCO, NAINA, Bombay Port Trust, MIDC, MSSRDC. Like that, there are 17 to 19 different planning authorities. It is so difficult, to understand that how will each one has a different approval process. We need a single authority for approval of plans. And just as passport, in today's times of India, it is stated that in Argentina, with an excellent AI, wherein all legal cases with the backbone of the AI, within 30 days, they are able to pay the compensation of an accident victim. If passport TCS, today, all the satellites and rockets that are launched are entirely managed by softwares. Today, thousands of crores are payment are managed UPI surface. How was this possible? This was possible because of the determination of the government. Today, crores of people are given by one press of a button. And with 5G technology becoming a reality, it is extremely easy to take out the myth, to take out the challenge of. So a company like TCS, Infosys, Wipro, any one of them can be given the process of approval. And entire approvals, whether it's CFO, the Chief Fire Officer, the environment, airport, everything needs to be concentrated so that every proposal can be approved. So this is my third suggestion. My fourth suggestion being that today my Aadhaar card, my driving license, but there is no title document within the domain of the common public that says that I am the owner of the property. I know when I go to redevelop a cooperative housing society, I have to get proof from the first assessment bill. That means if the building was constructed in 1960 or 1970, I get the first assessment bill, and in the first assessment bill, the structures are enlisted, the area is enlisted, the taxes are enlisted. So there is then I have to see the non-agricultural permission. Then I have to get a city survey plan and show that it was an authorized structure. Then I have to find out the approved plan of that day. Then I have to get the OC, the BCC, the PR card. Most of the cooperative housing societies don't even have 20 or 30% of the things that are needed for approval of plans. And it takes almost a year sometimes, to get everybody together. If digitize ownership, we can digitize infrastructure, we can digitize connectivity, if we can make parking lots within 500 meters, every parking lot within 500 meters to 1 kilometer, what we are able to do is to give title and to give reliability so that all that is needed to be constructed is the home, because the parking is already taken care of. The guy doesn't need parking because he has a public authority, and in case he needs a vehicle, there are travel and tourism, there are Ola, Ubers, and if he wants his own car, he can always park in the parking lot. So what we should do is that all these lacks of homes, I'll Dharavi, I'm digressing. Why was that successfully completed? Because the government took over the obligation of having the annexure 2. So the developer who has taken Dharavi for redevelopment, he get into this issue of how these thousands of people who are staying in Dharavi, that what's the name, what's the area, everything government is certified. Government has provided him the land also. 48 acres of railway land has been given for making the. So what the government has done, it has taken the obligation of the title, and hence the developer will also be able to borrow thousands of crores from the pension funds, from the insurance funds. I mean, he can even make a public limited company out taken, because it has the backing of a sovereign certificate. Now, why can't we make this into a reality to the smallest of the unit that has come up in MMR? We can easily do this. And once that happens, for a redevelopment, everybody knows who are the stakeholders. Approval will be easy because it is already outsourced. Hence, this whole gamut of will vanish. What was happening 15 years back, 10 years back? Rajiv Gandhi himself said that for every 100 rupee of subsidy that the government is giving, only 12 rupees is reaching to the direct beneficiary. Over the years, the government cut every process where this 88 rupees was going away to somebody else. And directly, so what has Amazon done? He has removed the retailer. So what product you get can get on Amazon at 3 rupees. So what will happen is that this huge cost that a developer has to incur, the huge time that a developer has to incur, first to understand and give that who are the stakeholders, will be based on the proof, the title ownership, the title guarantee being given by the government. And I'm so glad to say this is the first state government in the country which has introduced a land title bill. The first state in the country where it has said that in a building, if there are 200 apartments, in the PR card, there will be 200 names. There will be 200 names. So finally, over a period of time, what we are going to have is that the entire land records will be the base for the future developments. Now, this is something that we need. And the moment we crack, billions of dollars of real estate wealth, which is in the informal sector, will come in the formal sector. Before demonetization, there were not even 1 lakh taxpayers in the country. Today, we say there are 3 crore taxpayers. Very soon, there will be 6 crore taxpayers. Population has not increased. Economy has not grown 6 times. What happened? The digitization of payments, the entire informal business has come into the formal. And people have realized that being in the formal sector helps them, because the government that all small scale enterprises, micro enterprises, MSMEs will be given a priority in lending. As a result, people realized the very simple thing. अगर मुझे बड़ा बनना है तो मुझे फॉर्मल सेक्टर में आना पड़ेगा. फॉर्मल में सेक्टर आता हूं तो पहले पैन कार्ड चाहिए, फिर मैं इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न भरूंगा, मैं मेरे बैंकिंग राइट्स बताऊंगा, और जब मैं लिक्विडिटी दिखा तो कि हर महीने मेरा पासबुक में देखो इतना पैसा डालता हूं, इतना पैसा निकलता हूं, understands that this guy is doing real business. Same thing will happen to the informal real estate, and over the next 10 years this real estate will automatically mushroom by people automatic. जैसे गणपति फेस्टिवल है ना, किसी को बोलना नहीं पड़ता है कि घर पे गणपति लाओ, जब नमाज का टाइम आता है तो ऑटोमेटिकली लोग नमाज को जाते हैं. क्यों? किसी कोई बोलता है क्या? कोई अनाउंसमेंट करता है क्या? अपने आप ही लोगों को समझेगा कि इफ वी कम टुगेदर, my real estate valuation of 100 rupees will become 200 rupees, 300 rupees, 400 rupees. And automatically they will start giving out their lands. They will form self-help groups. So the government of Maharashtra has boost to self-redevelopment. This will automatically become a reality. All it needs is from a regulator to a facilitator. There should be a complete proactiveness. There should be relationship managers within the government approaching these groups, saying, what are your issues? What are your problems? So today, just as an insurance agent, a person from HDFC banks goes to say that buy this financial product of mine, tera dhanda badega. Aise hi, we should have micro plan. Jaise Rao will really unleash the potential. Today, my next point is, and hear me carefully, if one were to see from 2012 onwards, the concept of the government collecting premium started. Well, and this then has been adopted by everybody in Maharashtra. I don't have numbers, but let us say that in the last 10 years, the municipal corporation and the government would have collected about 6 of premiums. Now, what is 60, 70, 80,000 crores for the government? But what has that happened to? The cost of developing the home has gone up dramatically. Instead of front-ending the premiums, if you can back-end the premiums, that means just by increasing property taxes by 10%, 15%, nothing more than that, it doesn't pinch anybody. If we can back-end from today evening onwards, the cost of a home in MMR will drop by at least 30 to 40%. Along with that, reduction in the stamp duty. That clearing the process of approval. And fourth point, every approval should be given a sanctity. No stay order should come on it. One, it should be considered unless there is a solid evidence of fraud, misrepresentation that comes. Because finally, that project would be approved under RERA. And under RERA, it is the liability of the promoter. This is my next suggestion. Next point mine of is that how do you make fractional ownership a reality in urban development? What are the choices of a common man to invest his hard-earned money, the savings that is there? SIP, giving loan to a friend, buying some gold, what else? World over, there are REITs. It's only for commercial. Why can't we have micro REITs? Why can't I sell a house to 10 owners? Rental housing will become a reality. Leasing of commercial space will a reality. The cost space in MMR will be equal to the cost of commercial space in Gift City, in Hyderabad, Delhi, Bangalore. All these people have very, very difficult public infrastructure. But people are moving over there only because the cost of home is low, cost of the office is low, but the social life and the entertainment life is really in MMR. So with all this happening, I am not at all advocating billions of dollars of investment. I am not advocating any reliefs, tax relief, GST relief, whatever. Just do these fundamental things. And also, in terms of GST, give option to the developer to the of either he goes with the input tax credit or the non-input tax credit. Few words of mine. I would like to end my talk today. Once again, I feel that Murari Bhai respected my elder brother like my father. He's sitting in front of me, and actually he only is giving me, all this inspiration to give this talk and to put forth a topic of, discussion in our whole circles, that how do we make this into a reality. So these are just some of the discussion points. Pardon me if in any way I have stepped on anybody's authority or commented on anybody. I mean, it is just that how urban development can lead to national wealth. And thanks Sanjay, thanks Sangeet, thanks everybody in Accommodation Times, for this great opportunity.